everybody. Hopefully the audio here is good. I just got done watching a movie. It's the first movie I've watched in quite some time, besides my own. I did watch Cog Dating last month on the 14th, and I rewatched Ra Loves Almora somewhat recently. But besides those two, it's been like a month or two. Probably since January was probably the last time I watched anything that like a movie-wise that I hadn't made. And I've started movies, but I haven't finished them. I've had trouble sitting through stuff. And even this one I had a little bit of trouble sitting through. But it wasn't the movie's fault. It's just the circumstances of living in a car. My glasses are broken right now. I'm having issues with getting into bathrooms, and I'm not going to go into detail on it all, but if you watch my videos, you know kind of what's happening to me. But, yeah, I'm going to talk about Cabin Fever Patient Zero. This is the third film in a trilogy. There is also a remake of the first film, but I'm not counting that in the trilogy. If I had to rank them, I would say my favorite was Cabin Fever 2. I really liked that one. It's a blast. Cabin Fever 1, I think I like more than this one, although I might like this one more, I'm not sure. I'd probably need to watch them back to back to compare, because it has been a little bit since I watched the first Cabin Fever. I watched that one last year. But I think I might like that one a little more. What I'll say is this one had really good special effects. The gore is crazy in the third one, and I love the special effects. But the first one I feel like is just funnier, and it has Giuseppe Andrews in it. Him as Winston in the first movie is just so good. He's so great in that movie. And I think, you kind of do feel his absence in this, although I'm going to go into minor spoilers here. It would not make sense for him to be in this because it is a prequel. It's a prequel, and also it takes place, I think in Spain. I'm not sure. They're speaking Spanish in the movie, but they're on like an island, and yeah, it just wouldn't make sense for his character to be here, because he's a cop in wherever Cabin Fever takes place. I don't know, some Midwest place, I think. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I like this movie overall. I thought the ending was a little weak. I was not a huge fan of the ending, but it kind of grew on me. As the credits came to an end, it grew on me more and more. And I like the cinematography. This movie had great cinematography all throughout. Some really beautiful shots. Great visuals. Like I said, great special effects. I mean, it was so gory, and you could tell they went all out with that. Yeah, overall a good movie. I'm not sure who directed it. I know Ty West directed the second one. Eli Roth directed the first one. I don't know who directed this one. It was not either of those two, Eli Roth or Ty West. Neither of them did this one. But either way, it was good. I'd like to check out more from this director. I'm trying to remember the name. I know they showed it. It was like something with a K. I can't remember. But yeah, it was a guy I'd never heard of. I don't think I've seen any of their movies. It might not even be a guy. I don't know. But I'm guessing it is, because just the nature of the film. It's a very guy kind of movie. Here's another minor spoiler. This isn't really going to spoil much. This happens in like the first 10 minutes of the movie. But a guy eats a girl's pussy. It's like a pretty graphic sex scene. And there's just a lot of nudity, and there's a cat fight scene between these two women where they're kind of it's like a cat fight, and it's very very just, from the perspective of, like, a male, you can tell, kind of. Although maybe a woman directed it, I don't know. I'd be surprised. Not that that really takes away from the film for me. I didn't really care one way or the other. I mean, it didn't really do anything for me, seeing that cat fight scene. I mostly thought it was funny. I was like, really? You're trying to make this, like a sexy cat fight between... in this, like, virus horror movie? I don't know. It did seem a little out of place, and, like, it's just there kind of to, like, try to turn people on, although I don't know how you could be, like, turned on when they're, like, melting and shit, and, like, all fucking, their flesh is being ripped off, and, like, it just made me laugh, honestly. Yeah, I found out, too, the guy who plays Porter, he's one of the characters, Porter. You meet him very early on. He played Sam in Lord of the Rings. So I guess he's a very famous actor they had in this movie. I didn't realize that until the end. I think it would have taken me out of the movie if I was thinking about that I was like Samwise Gamgee surviving this fucking plague. But, yeah. I think these cabin fever movies are more and more prevalent now in our modern age because of coronavirus. We've been through a fucking pandemic. And the virus horror, I think, works so much well after. But it already works well for me because I'm so scared of germs and disease and stuff. Although I find it kind of funny watching these because, like, there's, like, vomiting and stuff. And, like, I don't know. I just find that stuff funny. But I also was surprised about this. I went on Letterboxd after. And this movie is, like, 1.6 stars, I think. 2 had 2.1 and the first had 2.8, and that's out of 5. So I'm like, wow, people don't really like these movies. Maybe it's because they're so, like, gross, but I feel that's the point. Like, why are you watching Cabin Fever if you don't want to see, like, people fucking melting and, like, vomiting all over each other? And like, I don't get it. But yeah, these movies are great. I loved all 3 of them. Fantastic trilogy. And I'd love to someday do a marathon of them all back to back. When I have a house, I'm going to actually start being able to do stuff like that. It's just not super comfortable to, like, sit here marathoning stuff on my phone. Yeah, I don't know. I have dreams of one day being able to do that, or, like, maybe being, like, a programmer for a theater and being able to, like, pick movies that play. Because I'd love to be able to program stuff like this. I've had ideas for, like, to do a marathon of just movies where people are melting. Because one thing I did watch recently was Slime City. I watched the first 40 minutes. I couldn't finish it. I could not focus. And I just went and played Marvel Snap. I don't know. I have trouble sitting through movies when I'm in this car and, like, I'm just so down and, like, thinking about, like, my personal life and all that. It makes it tough to watch movies. But yeah, Cabin Fever 0, thumbs up for me. I really liked it. And I think it's worth checking out. It's a great film. But you should watch the first and the second one before you watch this, if you have not seen those. And the second one, especially watch. But I mean, it is a sequel, so you should see the first one before you watch it, so you kind of understand. I mean, you don't really need to see the first, but you probably should see the first. Although, to be honest, you don't need to. I think you'll get more out of the movie if you've seen the first. Yeah. That was Cabin Fever Patient Zero. I enjoyed it. I give it thumbs up. Very good film. And that's my thoughts. Alrighty. Maybe you'll see more movie reviews from me. I'm watching movies again. I don't know if this will be a consistent thing. I watched this one on Tubi. Tubi's great for, like, seeing horror movies. They have a lot of horror movies on Tubi. I just wish there was a way to get rid of those fucking ads. You can't even pay for a subscription to get rid of ads. You have to watch ads if you use Tubi, which sucks. But they've got a great selection of films and independent stuff too, outside of horror. Just great independent stuff made by people who just, making stuff to make it. I really liked some stuff I've seen, which maybe I'll talk about those movies in the future when I actually get around to it. But yeah, there was one, I started it, I didn't finish it. It was an animated film, and I want to talk about it, and I want to finish it. But that'll come another day. Alright, bye everyone.